Hi, everyone. This is Kylene with Parents for Public Schools of Pitt County. We have been asked to do a question and answer session today with the Division of the Services for the Blind here in Pitt County. They do serve other counties as well, but they really wanted to talk with parents about how they can help you navigate how your child is receiving services in public schools if they have a visual impairment. So what I'd like to do first is start with one of their staff who's going to share with us a bit about their mission and their vision. So we're going to talk with Lalea Lennon, and she's going to tell us some about that.
Good morning. My name is Lalea Lennon. I am the counselor in charge at the Greenville District Office for Services for the Blind. And our mission is to enable North Carolinians that are visually impaired, blind, or deafblind to reach their goals of independence and employment.
Thank you so much. And I know that throughout the call today, we'll be talking with several staff who can help us understand more about how that mission is implemented. So we're going to move on to Jordan Thomas, and Jordan is going to tell us a little bit about the services that your organization provides.
Hi, I'm Jordan Thomas. I'm actually the Area 4 Supervisor for Wilmington and Greenville District offices. We do a variety of services. The first and foremost we have is vocational rehabilitation. This is mainly for those who are 14 and up, but we provide employment services to those to help them get employed. We also have what we call independent living services. This is also where we can go in the home, or we can also go in the work setting to basically provide services that may help them more independently. We also have what we call the medical eye care program. This is a program where we provide, for those who don't have medical or eye insurance that need to maybe be seen by an eye doctor, we can assist them with getting to the eye doctor and find out if something's going on. But we also have an array of specialists that work with us in each of our services, which I want to make sure that I bring attention to because they are very important on our team. The assistive technology consultant, they work mainly with our computers and helping those who are visually impaired with computer skills, as well as the assistive technology instructor. We have the deafblind specialist who work with those who may be dual diagnosed with a blindness as well as deafness or hard of hearing. We have our orientation and mobility specialist. That's the one who mainly works with those who may utilize the white cane. And also we have our nursing eye care consultant who does low vision services for us, who may do an assessment in order to find out if a magnifier is needed or possibly filter glasses, depending on what the person's visual impairment may be. And then, of course, we have our business service representative. And this person helps us basically gain relationships with employers in order to basically get somebody employed who may be visually impaired.
It's definitely a wide range of service. So I know that parents may be reaching out if they have students who fall along many of those categories. Let's also talk about who is eligible for services. Matt, I think you're going to share some information with us about that.
Yes, ma'am. So I'm Matt Waverin, and I'm the transition counselor for the Greenville office. So I'm working with the folks that are ages 14 and up. So we're working with kids that are still in high school, and then also individuals who are transitioning into college and trying to find work experiences, trying to find employment, long-term, both short-term and long-term employment. So in terms of being eligible for services, each program has its own eligibility criteria. Each person, and also when it comes to being eligible, each person must have some degree of vision loss, and the visual disability must cause an impediment to employment or education or independent living. Also, in terms of, there was a question about does someone have to be completely blind to be eligible for services? And it's the same answer. It's each person must have some degree of vision loss. So it's really case by case basis, and depending on their particular diagnosis and if it's, just degenerative or, yeah.
Thanks, Matt. It sounds like a good suggestion would be that if someone is questioning if they're eligible for services, they could get in contact with you all and simply ask, and you'd be able to walk them through that case-by-case basis with each parent and their child.
Absolutely. You know, right away, we need to have a current eye report, and we need to determine where their visual fields are. And so we need to have the complete picture too before we proceed with eligibility. So.
Thanks so much, Matt. Matt mentioned to us working with students who are 14 and older. And I want Jordan to give us a little bit of information about if there was a parent who has a child under the age of 14, how they might connect with the services for the blind.
Absolutely. We take everyone of different ages. Under 14 would mainly go to our social worker for the blind. In Pitt County, that is Kathy Little. So of course you can get reach out to her as the same way you would reach out to us, you know, when we have a trifold that provides our phone number. But yes, we can still provide independent living skills for those students. The reason why we focus so much on 14 is because when it comes to the vocational rehab piece of it, it's because they are heading into high school and basically making career choices and just discussing what's going to happen after high school. But we do not want to forget about our younger kids. So basically, yes, we can still provide services to them.
All right. Thank you so much, Jordan. I am going to move back to Matt now. You know, Matt, we are parents for public schools. So obviously it's wonderful to hear about the services that you all are providing that can help with independent living skills and things at home and in the community and employment. But of course, most folks watching this, because this is Parents for Public Schools, they want to know how you can help their children in public schools. So talk to us a little bit about specifically how you all make connections with parents and students as it relates to public schools. And I think you really are focusing more in your answer on the 14 and up students.
Yeah, so for our transition caseload, there are a number of different areas. So Stan Roberts is a community employment specialist, and Stan and I work with our clients to identify work experiences. So we've worked with employers in the area to provide work experiences for our folks so they're able to get up to 120 hours of, let's say the most recent one is we have someone working at Food Line. So she's doing a work experience at Food Line and getting up to 120 hours there. It's really more on a case by case basis in terms of folks that are still in school. A lot of the clients that are still in school, we are focused more on just that initial job experience. And so identifying a employer in the area or a job in the area that might be a good fit for them, just talking to them and saying, well, what kind of, it sounds really basic, but just, well, what kind of work are you wanting to do? You know, what sort of job experiences would you be interested in? Or, you know, Stan will also talk to them about some employers that he knows are hiring right now or that we already have a good relationship with. So yeah, it's called pre-employment transition services on our end, and it includes the job exploration counseling piece. It includes workplace readiness training, work-based learning experience, counseling on enrollment opportunities. So to translate that has to do with prepping for college. And also if our clients need additional training in order to do a certain job. So we had someone that worked at a job site and they needed a little bit more coaching. So we'll also work with outside employers with ECVC, for instance, to provide job coaching services. Self-advocacy is a big piece too. So working with our clients on becoming more independent and making sure that their needs are being met both in school and then when it comes to outside of school, going to college, making sure they're getting all of the services they need, you know, accommodations, especially both in high school and in college. So we have a training right now where we're really in fact, one of our recent days when we had the training, we were talking just about that, about self-advocacy. So I want to make sure to mention some other areas too. So higher education preparation, that's tied to counseling on enrollment opportunities too. So just making sure that the kids know all the different steps that are involved. So that includes applying for financial aid. What program are you interested in? Are you aware of all of the requirements for that program, and how some of the things that their kids are wanting to study may be a little bit more involved, or they might involve getting, let's say, a master's degree as well. And so understanding what all is involved with that, and the amount of reading involved, and the amount of steps for that. So talked a little bit about work experience programs. We also have summer programs for our transition age youth. So it's the Savvy program in Raleigh. So there's 3 different programs that they have at Savvy. So we can refer them to the RCB, the Rehabilitation Center there, where the DSB, the Raleigh DSB is also there. But that's a great program that we have for our folks. There's also the mini centers that we have, which address both school and work related matters. So training in both those areas. And then also specialized job placement services, which I've talked a little bit about that already with in terms of what Stan does, what his job is. So I really like to, in terms of employment, when we're talking with our kids, like we had one particular person that was really interested in shoes and wanted to start his own business. And there's a business in town called Art and Soul that's like downtown Greenville. And so we just, Stan and I talked to the employers there, and they were open to working with him on a work experience. So sometimes it's just, a lot of the time, it really just starts with the individual, with the student, and just talking to them about what they're wanting and what they want to do with their lives, and then how the role that we play in that. So.
Thanks, Matt. That's really good information.
Absolutely.
Of course, students can always reach out to their school counselors, but it sounds like this is an additional service that provides even more support and really serves as part of that whole team of support for a student. I do want to ask a little bit, we work with a lot of parents here at Parents for Public Schools who will contact us and say, I'm going to an IEP meeting, or I'm going to a 504 meeting, and I'm a little nervous. I'm not sure what to expect. So I wonder, and I think Stan's going to help us with this question, but parents, you can always take someone with you to an IEP meeting. That is a right that you have. And you certainly want to see everyone there as part of your team. We don't want to see it as a parents versus schools. It's a parents and schools and community as we all work together to support your child. So Stan, talk to us a little bit about your organization's availability to go with a parent to an IEP meeting or a 504 meeting as they set up accommodations and plans for their child within the schools.
Yes, ma'am. We are willing and available to go to any IEP meeting upon the request of the parent. I myself, I've been on both sides of the table. I have been a parent with a 504 or student, and I've also worked for 15 years in the school system in the EC department, and I've been involved in the 504 IEP meetings in those settings. But our main objective is to increase and promote the independency of the student. And lots of times you have to have full working knowledge of everything that's available. And sometimes parents can be intimidated, just as you forestated. They may not recognize the terminology. Some of them may just actually zone out because they feel a little bit overwhelmed. And we can go in and just kind of help decipher and kind of channel certain bits of information to help the student be more independent and utilize all that's offered to them, all that's available to them, so that they can, achieve their goals, both educationally and employment-wise.
Thank you so much, Stan. I know that's a great comfort to parents sometimes, to just have someone else go with them to that meeting and just make that team even bigger as you really make solid plans for your child and work together with everyone involved to make the best decisions. So one last question, Jordan, I think you're going to answer this, but tell us a little bit about if there's a parent out there and the parent actually has a visual impairment. Is there something that you can do to work with them?
Absolutely. With the services that I mentioned before are just as available to adults as it is for children. And sometimes I know parents, and actually having a family member who is visually impaired, they have a lot on their plate, a lot of responsibility. And they may need some, if they have a visual impairment, some assistance when it comes to helping their kids with their schoolwork, being able to see that, seeing paperwork that comes home from teachers, making sure they're alert of all the newsletters that are sent out. We can definitely help them with that, with independent living skills, with independent living counselor. Who can basically send the nurse in to see if their assessment can be done, to see what kind of tools they need in order to be successful at being involved with their kids' school. So yes, we absolutely. And of course, if those parents are working and they're having them have a visual impairment as well, we can also help them with making sure they retain that employment. If they're willing to find employment, we can help with that as well. So yes, we have all the resources there for the parents as well, because sometimes you just need a little help yourself. As a parent might know that better than anybody too. So yes, we do have availability for them.
All right. Thank you so much to each of you for talking with us today. This is it's a topic that we just haven't necessarily covered at Parents for Public Schools before. So I was glad that Jordan reached out and just said, hey, we have services that are available to families who have students in the public schools. And we have ways to support them and just want them to know it's available. So thank you for watching today. Thank you to all the staff for joining us today. I hope everybody has a great rest of your day.